Hello and welcome back to TeaBookClub. We're getting close to the end of our current read, which has been fantastic. We've been reading Tales of the Tea Trade by Michelle and Rob Comins, which has been an amazing read, and we've discovered all these different people that they've met on their travels, the places they've been and the teas that they source. We have our discussion in just over a week's time, when we will be meeting on Sunday the 31st of May to discuss the book and share our thoughts. This is something we do monthly, so we read every book over a 2-month period so that you've got time to actually kind of read it and digest. In the first month we finish the month with an online meetup where we have a theme from the book that we explore. One time we had a tea party, another time we had a Japanese tea session. Sometimes we have the author or someone from the book come and speak to us. So last month we actually had Michelle and Rob Comins join us and take questions about their tea experiences and the book and that kind of thing. And then at the end of the second month we have our discussion where we meet and share our thoughts on the book and what we've got from it, what we've learnt, etc. So that will be in just over a week's time. I hope you can join us. Every week I do a 5-minute reading, so I'll be reading for 5 minutes from the book today, and then we'll squeeze in just one more reading before our meet up at the end of next week. So I'm going to read from page 161 in the chapter on Nepal. Here we go. Page 161, The Farm and Factory Model, Reggie Goodwin, Kanyam Tea Estate. Michelle. It was a misty afternoon when we finally arrived at the Kanyam Tea Hill Gardens, located 1,560 metres above sea level, with the factory at the highest point. We could only imagine how beautiful the scene would be when the clouds lifted. We were late, very late, which is quite a common theme with tea travels. We need not have worried, as we were greeted by the hugely charismatic Reggie, the man in charge of Kanyam, with an impressive family history in tea. His father was the son of a British SAS operative who was based in Japan and fought along with the Allied forces. His mother came from royal stock in Burma and was the princess of the Shan state of Tungi. They had to flee to India after his grandfather was killed during World War II in Myanmar, ending up in Nepal, where his father started the first tea nursery in 1966. From there, the Nepali tea industry was born. Reggie. My father was on a garden called Chillingcot. I remember the fun when, as small kids on winter vacation, we used to come back home and try to earn some extra cash working in the nursery. Of course, being the Burra Sahib's chief officer's kids had its benefits, and more fun was had than work was being done. The plants from the nursery were used to supplement the small area that had been planted in Soktim and Ilam way back in 1857 by the erstwhile Raja. Dad was instrumental in getting the Soktim factory built, as well as putting the Ilam factory in order. Even today, Ilam and Soktim retain the sections that were planted in 1857 with the original Chinese hybrid clone that gives both gardens the distinctive flavour. Sadly, the Soktim factory has been closed after privatisation. Our time in Kanyam was to be enlightening. This garden is quite unique in Nepal in that there is an owned garden alongside a factory, rather than a group of smallholders feeding into a cooperative. This has its advantages in the consistent approach towards maintaining quality. 60% of the teas produced here are sold to the internal market, while 40% are exported to Kolkata. Reggie focuses on making black teas with a greenish tinge. They produce a light cup, which to me is unique to Nepali tea. Reggie explained, we achieved this by going for a hard wither 20 centimetres deep, then a hard roll to get the green tinge. Very little oxidization is allowed to retain the freshness of the brew. We tried to pluck most of the areas on a strict 7-day round, but due to a scarcity of workers, a common theme in Nepal, we have to leave out some areas which are plucked on extended rounds. At the moment, the 125 people in the 299-hectare garden are operating on a 13-day plucking round. Of course, the teas are manufactured separately and packed and sold as secondary teas. As the rain pelted the glass of the tasting room, we enjoyed the teas which Reggie, Rajnish, the manager of Kanyam, and Jitman, and the factory assistant manager. As we tasted, we talked about the image of Nepali tea, which is often seen as the poor cousin of Darjeeling, sent to be blended, lost and unappreciated as a single garden offering. We also spoke about the labour shortages here. I had seen very few people plucking in the gardens, in stark contrast to what we had seen over the border in Assam. Reggie explained that the optimal land-to-person ratio here is 2.5 workers per hectare, but they were operating at a 0.8, a highly challenging situation that is leading many large-scale gardens to move to machine plucking. In Reggie's experience, this labour shortage was due to a lack of interest among the young to get their hands dirty working in a larger garden like this. He knows the impact that moving to machine plucking often has on quality. So at Kanyam, the majority of tea is still hand-plucked with some minimal use of hand shears. We also discussed the changeable weather. Last year there was no rain from October to April. Reggie explained the impact of this. Due to a prolonged drought and then heavy showers, the bushes are highly stressed. This may be hard to understand, but they behave differently in terms of yield and also quality. A continued cycle of this type of weather has also brought about changes in Assam and Darjeeling. From Kanyam, we headed up to Ilam Tea Estate to see the oldest tea garden in Nepal, which is located in the centre of the town. This smaller garden is 48 hectares, originally planted in 1857 as 4 hectares. Here, Reggie and a small team of 3 workers focus simply on green tea. The plucking standard is 2 leaves and 1 bud, all hand-picked with no withering. At 12 p.m. and 3:30 p.m, the leaves come in and the team cool them down, then place them in the enzymer, a machine in which the tea simply runs through 125 degrees Celsius in order to kill green, or halt the oxidization of the leaf. The leaves are then rolled before being dried for 24 minutes at 120 degrees C. They then leave the tea overnight to develop the flavour and get an even bloom before sorting. As our time together came to an end, talk moved on to more general topics. Our short time together had clearly shown that Reggie has adventure in his blood, and it was interesting to learn that his motivations for life in tea are similar to those of many people we have met in tea, an underlying desire to do something good for an industry on which many people rely. I have always loved the outdoors and refused to live in a city. In the beginning, tea offered me a nice lifestyle, but I started in 1983 and I'm still at it. I love the thrill of seeing something grow and mature and then become a source of livelihood for many people and a source of joy to millions around the world. I left my job in Assam and came back to Nepal, where I saw my first tea bush. This will probably be my last formal job as a planter. Then I want to stay in Nepal and help the smaller farmers get better so that one day an industry that my father helped start can take its place as a quality source of tea. For Reggie, love of the land is at the heart of this positive future for the tea industry in Nepal. And when not at work, he is riding around the hills on his motorbike, Mustang Sally. Nepal is a land of sheer joy if you have the right attitude. Fruit grows so easily here, along with many species and rare herbs. There are opportunities galore in a place as gorgeous and fertile as this, provided that you love the land. And I think that is just another lovely snippet of the kind of people and the depth of love for tea that Michelle and Rob encounter and share with us through this book. So if you'd like to get involved and share your thoughts on the book, do join us. Head over to TeaBookClub.org or join TeaBookClub on Instagram. The links are both below. And we look forward to seeing you on the 31st of May for our discussion. Thank you.